Hello everyone, my name is Arun Babu and I am here to review Talend Open Studio as part of my classwork for IT 602. So, what is Talend? Talend is the first provider of open source data integration software. Its main product is Talend Open Studio. After 3 years of intense research and development, investment, the first version of that software was released in 2006. It is an open source project for data integration based on Eclipse RCP that primarily supports ETL-oriented implementations and is provided for on-premises deployment as well as in a software as a service delivery model. Talend Open Studio is mainly used for integration between operational systems as well as for ETL, that is extract, transform, load, for business intelligence and data warehousing, and for migration. Talend offers a completely new vision reflected in the way it utilizes technology as well as in its business model. The company shatters the traditional proprietary model by supplying open, innovative, and powerful software solutions with the flexibility to meet the data integration needs of all types of organizations. Talend Open Studio is the most open, innovative, and powerful data integration solution on the market today. Main features and benefits of that solution are business modeling, graphical development, metadata-driven design and execution, real-time debugging, and robust execution. Provided as a packaged, out-of-the-box, ready-to-install platform, Talend Open Studio meets data integration requirements of all organizations regardless of their size or level of data integration expertise. Also, there are a lot of Talend Open Studio extensions. Talend Integration Suite, the first open source enterprise data integration solution. Talend Integration Suite supports the tough requirements of enterprise development and scales to the highest levels of data volumes and process complexity. Talend On Demand, the industry's first data integration software as a service. Talend On Demand consolidates Talend Open Studio metadata and project information in an online shared repository hosted by Talend. Talend Open Profiler, the first open source data profiling tool. Talend Open Profiler allows business users or data management staff to define a set of indicators for each data element that needs to be analyzed or monitored. It produces sophisticated reports and graphs that let users gauge at a glance the level of quality of the data and the status of the indicators that were defined. Talend Data Quality, the first open source data quality solution with enterprise grade features and technical support. Talend Data Quality is a graphical data quality management environment that processes data such as addresses, phone numbers, spellings, synonyms, and abbreviations. Talend Data Quality includes both data profiling and data cleansing capabilities. Now, let's take a look at the way how to download Talend Open Studio for data integration and how to use the software. Now, let's see how to download Talend Open Studio and how to install it. So, search for Talend Open Studio and we can go to their website directly. In the product section, you will see both commercial products and free products. Commercial products are mainly for enterprises which needs to do the product or do the project as a team, and so they will need like lot of sharing between them, and lot of customer support or support from the Talend developers. So people will need to buy the license for using that, but it is way cheaper than most of the other data integration softwares. You can see the different varieties of softwares which are helpful for our data mining, data integration, data warehousing. Like they're having big data integration, real-time big data, preparation integration, cloud integration, data quality, master data management, which is a popular tool right now, and metadata manager. And among the free products, they have data preparation and Talend Open Studio. And Open Studio is divided into 5 different categories. One is for big data, which is a highly big field of data integration right now. And the other one is data integration. There's another for data quality, ESB, and MDM. MDM is master data management. So we are going to see Open Studio for data integration. So this is the download menu. And here you can see the version number. It's a free open source tool, version 6.3.1, basic data integration. It has 900 plus connectors and components. It's an intuitive interface, a business modeler, job designer, and it's fully open source. That means we can see the code. And also in this new version, it has more development and collaboration tools, management and monitoring tools, metadata exchange tool, and web and email support with a free enterprise trial just for 30 days. And you can download the free tool right here. And since I have already downloaded the tool, I will show you how it works, because installation is very simple. You just need to double click and click on next and specify the location on where you want to install the software, and that's almost it. It gets installed with the direct executable file in the folder. Now I will show you where exactly the file is present. So when you download the file and install it, a zip folder is created in your local system, and when you unzip the folder, the file gets installed to the system. And so I am opening the unzipped folder, and you can see all the files, and there is a 32-bit version as well as a 64-bit version. And since my system is a 64-bit, I'm going to run the 64-bit right now. So it takes a little bit time to open up the application, since it's having a lot of background processes running in the system. And so we can select an existing project which is like maybe already saved to the system, or we can create a new project, which is what I'm going to do now. Create a new project, and I'm gonna give like my first Talend project. Create. And so let's open the new one. So it is opening up the workspace, and you'll find it is much similar to Eclipse because it is running in a Java background. So they are synchronizing the libraries with all the Java files, Eclipse files, also the Hadoop things, which since it supports big data too. So we are in the page right now. So let's create a new job. So I'll give the name as my first Talend job. purpose. Okay, app software review, right? Software review. Description, again I'll give some random description for the app you are going to create this one for. If I click on finish, yeah, so we are in the page, the job, my first Talend job. So I'll take you through give a demo of the app initially. So this is the palette, which contains all the different functionalities of this app, or of this software. So the main things which we will use are, okay, I'll minimize each one of them. So these are the main categories initially. So you will find, let's click on file and see what file has. So file has input. That means if we are having a flat file like Excel file or CSV file, we can use that file directly as input to this job. And there is a file management option, and you can see a lot of XML, regex, raw file, and also the properties. If we want, we can use this one, and Excel and delimited, which you might be familiar about with other softwares as well. And inside the management, you will find all the different file management properties or options which we can use while executing the job. There's archiving, there is comparing with another file, copy file, copy from one source to the target, delete file, check if a file exists or not, and similar file list, iteration set of file, different properties. Yeah, so there are a lot of files. And when I click on the name pipe, it is there's open name pipe from a name pipe open component, and similarly there is output. So we can define where the file needs to go, whether it's an Excel file to be the output, or should it be a delimited file or an XML file, or however you want. So that's mostly the file properties. And let's go to the databases, which all databases can be connected, and you'll find a lot of databases. I'm pretty sure there is nothing more than this which you people might be using right now. You can find our Oracle, MySQL, Teradata, Vertica, PostgreSQL and PostgrePlus, my MS SQL Server, Hive, which is the one for big data, DB2, Access, Microsoft Access. So these are the most common databases which we use, and almost this Talend provides support or input from any of this database, both input and output. And also we can see in Oracle, if we go, there is bulk execution, commit, input, output, rollback, row. Almost every feature of it is there. If we just need to connect to that specific database before we start executing the file. So that's about the different databases. Now let's see what is there in this big data, which almost all of you will be eager to know. What does Talend has to do with big data? So there is the Hive, which is the SQL thing which they use to connect to big data, the bigger files, and also the Google storage or Google BigQuery is also available. If you people want to work in any of this, you can do that too. Business intelligence is the way the people that higher management would like to see the data in. So there is Cube, there is charts. When the higher management wants to see how their organization is performing, they might not have enough time to go through all the Excels or go through the data. It will be easier for them to see as a chart or as a display, like a graph method or something. So they can analyze the current status of their organization in a better and more efficient way. So it shows bar chart and line chart, and you can add more extension charts to this as well. Also LabCube is there with Montrain and Palo. If we go to the business section, It's all different business softwares which people can use, like SAP, Salesforce, NetSuite, Microsoft CRM. These are all the different business softwares which we can use. Like if you click on SAP, it will show you all the input, and directly from SAP connection you can take the file. Also, there is cloud services associated with Talend: Amazon, Azure Cloud, Dropbox, Google Drive, or like NetSuite, Salesforce, and all. You can directly access the data from those cloud services and use it in our jobs. Custom code is the place where like we can give our own Java code or like Groovy code or anything which you can find it useful. Data quality is a important thing when we come to data warehouse or database or data management. So change the encoding of a file. Some files might be like having a different encoding. If you want to change that, we should use data quality. Replace strings with a dynamic replacement list and all. Unique rows. We already talked about database, and also it has .NET integration with it. ELT is there. It's for SQL aggregation and filtering. Connections which we can use. All the different like JDBC connections, MS SQL connections, everything comes under ELT. And mapping is used to map each, like all the different columns to the from input and output. So JDBC, Greenplum, SQL, MySQL, Oracle, Postgre, all the main components which we use with the database are present in Talend. Internet, it can have different internet connections like FTP to connect to the server and get the data from the internet or from the net service. Also, it has the socket output, SOAP, send mail, RSS output, RSS input, REST and POP services associated with it, and you can set proxies also. And there is an option for logs and errors to save the log files of the job when they get executed, so that we can find if there are any errors and calculate the error. Different types of log options are available. And in miscellaneous, they find like different row generator, like all the small functions which we might need to use. And on orchestration, like I'm just going through all those functions, but maybe you won't use it for any, like for a single job. But when you are like in an organization with a lot of functionalities working on a project, you might use some of them. And different processing is there, like tmap, treplace. Mapping is to map the columns between source and output, like input and output. External sort, we can do a sort outside. Filtering can be done. Aggregating can be done, that is group by and stuff. And system is a like run job, set environment, or we can directly use the run job command in the job system as well. And also the master data management is there with almost all the similar options which you can find in any master management tool. Unstructured is the main thing for big data files. We are not going much into that right now. And also the XML. Now, I am going to show you how to create a simple Talend job. For right now, I'm going to take an example of reading data from one delimited file, doing something with it, and then writing the data to a new delimited file. If we can do that much, then it implies that we can do more, like more editing, more database connectivity and everything. But since it might take a longer time to explain and it can get complicated when explaining through a video in a short time, so I'm going to do this example of a small and simple operation. The 4 steps when creating a Talend job are to create a job, add components from the component palette, configuring or connecting the components, and then to run the job. So I have created a sample input data file. So it will act as the input to our job. and I'm just using an employee CSV file. So I'll show you now which file I'm using right now. So this is a delimited file which I'm going to use as the input for my sample talent job. So the create new job I had already done earlier. If you want to create one more, like a newer job, you can right click on the job designs to show you create job or create folder, build job, import items, export items. When you select a new job, it will be open up as a blank canvas in the design window. The Talend design tool is based on Eclipse. You can find more information about how it is designed in the Eclipse website. Now we need to add 3 components to our job. So that we get from the component palette here. So first let's search for file input, which will be under the file section. You can find T file input delimited. So I'm gonna add this to this one, to our job window. Also you can search here for the same thing, like if you search for T file input, it is gonna show you the different file input options with that. So we got the file input, and you just need to drag it to the design window. Also we will use tmap, which is used to mapping the files, like mapping the, okay, so I'm dragging the tmap, as well as I need an output file. Since my output file is also gonna be a flat file, I'm using output delimited. Okay. Now there is an asterisk near our job name, which tells that this job is not saved till now, and you can save your job at any time. It will be automatically saved if you run the job. You can see both a design and a code tab. Talend generates Java code, and that is what you will see when you click on this code tab. So I have just clicked on the code tab, waiting for the generation of the code in the background. You won't be able to modify the Java code, but it is an invaluable resource for debugging and understanding your job. So you can understand that this is a Java code, all the classes, the private, public, or it functions. Yeah, so that's it. You can always use this code for debugging. Now we should always change the names of these components. Talend automatically named these components by using the components class type followed by an underscore and a sequential number, as well as this being the component's name. This is also the label that you will see on the screen. I would strongly recommend that you always change the label names to something more useful. It is a key aspect of any Talend job that it is readable and well documented. So now let's change the component names. So this one, if you click on near this name, you can give employee any name you want. I am gonna give employee file underscore input. And for the tmap, I'm gonna give employee map. and for the file output delimited, I'm gonna give employee file output underscore file underscore output. This helps anyone who, like any other developer who is gonna use the same job, to understand what each operation does. So now let's configure the employee input file. So when you click on the employee input file, you will see a lot of settings coming up in the component tab. We need only the file name or stream and the header. So right now it is going to a default directory. Let's change it to our employee CSV file. So you can select employee.csv. So I have changed it into our employee.csv. And since the first line of our file contains header, we should make this as 1. So if we click outside, the settings get automatically saved. Now again, if you go to this, now if you click on the edit schema, this option, it will tell us different columns we need. So when you click on this plus sign, you can use the different column names. So our column names are ID. So it's a primary key for our table. The type is gonna be int or integer. We can select if it makes it nullable, not nullable, it is coming as int. And like if we make it nullable, it comes as integer. It is because the code generated by Talend is Java, and by changing the nullable setting, Talend is swapping the type between the primitive int and the class integer. So let's add the remaining columns like name, it's a string, nullable, department, start date, and salary. Salary will be, we'll put as a big decimal, and start date we'll keep as date. And you can save. You just need to click on OK after this. So everything is mapped. So now we are connecting the map employee to employee file output, and we name the file as our required file which we need to connect. Make it in the same directory as we have already created the input file, and we will rename it to output.csv. So see, now you can see that every job, all the 3 parts came under a single job. Now we need to configure the map employee. When you click on map employee, this component, let's click on the map editor. For this example, we are going to make the structure of output file identical to that of input file. So now let's select all the columns from the input file, and paste it in the, so all the columns got pasted. And when we click on auto map here, it gets automatically mapped from the input to the output. It matches based on the column names of the output and input. And mapping expressions is how you transform that your data, and we'll try an example of that later. Now let's click on apply and OK to save the changes. So now the changes are done. Now let's run the job. So now let's run the job and see if it gets successful. Okay, so it is connected and disconnected. That means like the job is run. Now let's check the output file on how it came out. Yep, so all the things came to the output file. Now let's add a mapping expression to our job. So far our job copies data from input to output without modification. So I'm selecting the map employee component, and in the component there's a map editor, and click on the three dots. It'll take you to this place, and under the expression and output, like I'm going to click on name, just going to make it an uppercase. So here you can see the three dots, and here we can write two uppercase. So that's a function, and click on OK. Okay, now when we run the job, let's see what we get. Now we can go to the file, output 1, and you will see the names got uppercased. So the operations in Talend are really simple. You can do a lot of operations and make it faster, and you can schedule the jobs and all, which I will be explaining in later reviews of the app. So this is how normally a job works in case of Talend. Now I'm going to tell about the pros and cons of Talend Open Studio. The main advantages over ETL processes of traditional methods by using Talend are: it significantly reduces costs of developer rates by cutting the time in nearly half to build, pull and extract data elements. Highly efficient with little fear of bad ETL acquisition and fewer errors than manual ETL. Developers have the ability to tap into the core products of Talend and use a community supported and created plugins to match any specific ETL need. customized ETL data extractions that are specific to IT developers' needs. Whether the ETL project is big or small, Talend Open Source has a solution for ETL. Add as you go. Developers can adjust ETL on the fly to accommodate new needs for existing data. Database administrator or higher level programmer can utilize for ETL needs. Just like any product on the market, open source or commercial, there are some elements that consumers would like to see adjusted. However, with Talend Open Studio, there are no real downsides to any element of the community supported platform that Talend has, not in one way or another, provided a solution for. If the consumer is wanting a commercial supported platform, Talend does offer this version for bigger projects. And for those who wish to utilize open source platform, its wide network of community supporters provides a real-time, peer-backed platform for developers to tap into for new plugin patches, troubleshooting, and brainstorming of new developments. So, when it comes to highly efficient, reliable, and community-driven support for ETL data development, it is without a doubt that leveraging Talend Open Studio is a widely popular and support method to accomplishing this task. With its highly efficient ETL platform, there are many advantages of leveraging Talend Open Studio for ETL. I recommend this to a lot of people who are involved in work with me. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope you have a good experience using Talend Open Studio. Thank you.